Welcome to another Panthers Pretend Draft here as part of This Team is Killing Us. I'm your host, Demetri. Each and every day, we are testing out different strategies, both conservative and bold, for the Carolina Panthers in the upcoming NFL Draft, just to see what the options may be as we get closer to actually making those picks. I got a comment the other day on one of the drafts where I waited until round 4 to take a pass catcher of any sort that accused me of hating Bryce Young. And first of all, I think you know that can't possibly be true. Second of all, we are just trying out all kinds of different things here to see what might work best for the Panthers when they do draft. I guess it will be 8 days from today, even though we are a week away from the actual NFL draft. Remember, as far as we know, the Panthers do not have a first-round pick. So let's launch into today's picks as a part of another Panthers Pretend Draft. All right, likely hanging out until number 33 here. Not interested in giving up too much and losing out on a ton of draft picks. Plus, it looks like a decent amount of the guys on our leap list are going pretty early. Yeah, there goes Dallas Turner. I mentioned the other day that Brian Thomas Jr. may be added to this list. I've been thinking about that and there he goes. I've been thinking about that for the better part of yesterday and today, and I just don't know what the right range is for him to fall to before I say the Panthers need to make a mad dash up the board. But right now at number 33, let's take a look at what the offers are. I think we are going to see what the Chargers would do here. If they would just do it straight up for 33, if they would give us 37 and 105. No. All right, let's take this pick then without thinking too much about it. Because, again, he falls for another day in a row. A.D. Mitchell, I think, is probably among the best-case scenarios that the Panthers could have at pick 33. As we go to 39, no good offer here. So what do? Do we go edge? We'll go Zach Frazier. It's the safer pick. I think actually it's the smarter pick. And that way we address the two biggest needs. Look, the offense is going to have to really correct all the mistakes that were made that limited Bryce Young last year. So getting better help at center and getting a pass catcher that really is on the track to being number one on his team is the smarter move. Xavier Legette goes off the board. So not that I was going to go pass catcher in the first 3 picks, but it's interesting. Let's see what the Giants would do if they would make that a pick for this year. No. All right. So what do we want to do here? Because I don't know that we have to go edge rusher and get Brandon Dorlus. We've already got our center, so we're not looking at Van Pran Granger. Roger Rosengarten at tackle is a bit of a reach. Do we go Jonathan Brooks again? Maybe. But what are we even looking for in a running back? Do we prioritize someone who could be a starter? I don't think so. And maybe the best thing we can do here is just take the best available player on the board. I know linebacker is not a glaring area of need. But again, I keep going back to with the loss of Frankie Louvu, with the loss of Brian Burns, with the loss of Jeremy Chin, there's a lot of turnover on this defense next year. So I don't know that we can count on them not needing some kind of help. So we will take Edgerrin Cooper of Texas A&M, listed as the best available linebacker. I think widely considered after Peyton Wilson, one of the 2 or 3 best of that next tier of linebackers on the board. So I'm happy with that pick. And now we waited out until 101. And I see a couple of options for us here that I like. Let's see if they'll come up on that. They'll come up to 163. No. All right. I don't think 186 is worth making a move down, particularly because I'm enamored here with 2 possibilities. Let's just scroll down. Mike Sanistril from Michigan certainly satisfies our need at corner, but Jatavian Sanders, I think, is a lot better than that next tier of tight ends. He's another weapon to add for Bryce Young, so that will be the pick here. Jatavian Sanders, I think, has popped up as our tight end selection in a couple of different drafts here of late. And with 141, I mean, I don't think Sanistril is lasting all the way down to that pick. But if he does, all right, no, and there he goes. All right, so with 141, I'm a little more open now to trading back and accumulating some picks later on in the draft. Just taking a look at what is coming off the board here. We don't have our running back yet, which, is not the end of the world. We don't have a tackle yet. Again, not, and there goes Javon Foster. All right, let's see how creative Detroit would get here. No. All right, I'm not totally rejecting yet, though, because that is a lot of picks in this draft. Let's accept it. Losing that 7th pick that belonged to, well, hang on, here's another one. 153 to 212. Why not? Why not? If we're just giving up our own pick, and in the other trade, if we're just giving up that 7th round pick that belonged to Kansas City, I don't know how much value that has anyway. Let's accumulate and fill some needs here. So at 153, we could add more to the secondary. We could add another wide receiver target. We could add our tackle if we want to do Garrett Greenfield. Let's go with Johnny Dixon. Let's fill our cornerback need with the corner out of Penn State. All things passing for Penn State last year were not the best, but we'll add him to the roster here. So now we pick at 164. And let's go Christian Jones. We really are turning into the Carolina Longhorns here. 3 Texas players in this draft. Jones, a very good tackle. That whole offense with Texas did a great job this season. Everybody doing their job to turn them into the scoring machine that they were under Steve Sarkisian. So I'm happy with Jones here. Now we'll hang out until pick 201, and we can be a little bit flexible. We could be a little diverse in our thinking of what is a need versus what is just nice to have, and that's sort of what I'm thinking here. Especially with 205 coming up, I think this is a chance to, again, add a piece to the secondary. Let's add a guard in Satua Laumea. And now here we can add that other piece of the secondary. Let's add Thomas Harper from Notre Dame. I think I'd rather have a safety here than any of the corners on the board. So let's put Harper on the roster. And now we're picking again at 212 before we have that layoff till 240. I don't know that we add any of the available tight ends, no sense in adding a second tight end. So let's add our guy, Aniyah Smith. I think he is obviously the best possible returner candidate in this class, especially this late in the draft. Man, you think about what A&M had when they had Aniyah Smith and Devon Achane on the same roster, and it is a miracle that Jimbo Fisher kept that job as long as he did. About to close out our draft here at pick number 240. You know what? A position we have not addressed at any of these drafts. And again, when you're at 240, you don't even know for sure that this guy's going to make the roster. Let's add Jamari Chroma of James Madison. That James Madison defensive line, a little bit of undersung heroes for what they have accomplished over the last 2 years. And again, whether it is just adding bodies or adding potential contributors, we've got to make some changes, or we've got to fortify ourselves for changes coming to the defense. So here's what we do. I think these are the most draft picks we have taken in one of these Panthers Pretend Drafts, and we accumulate them as a result really of 2 trades, getting 2 picks there from the Panthers and then racking up 3 picks in that trade with the Detroit Lions. But there you go. I'm happy with what we've done here. So come back tomorrow. We are almost done. We're in the final week of these Panthers Pretend Drafts. Be sure and like, subscribe, tell people about the show by leaving a comment. It exposes more people to our content here, and Panthers fans all over YouTube are in a bit of a state of confusion as we all wait to see what the team is going to do at pick number 33, having to wait all the way to the second round this year to start picking.